Chưa cô hỏi.
of Honor and Police Officers Wives Association or representatives, the Council of Women Societies, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, my Lord, Honorable Justice Lowell Okeje, the Director, National Library of Nigeria, distinguished guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My privilege and honor to welcome you all on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Education and the management of the National Library to this National Library today. I'm indeed delighted to welcome our special guest of honor, Excellency the First Lady, Mariam Babangida, who has graciously found time to be with us this morning, despite her very crowded schedule. I welcome all our guests who have spared the time and made special efforts to witness this event. The National Library of Nigeria, if I may seize this opportunity, Your Excellency, to talk briefly on the library, is a statutory corporation established by the National Library Act No. 6 of 1964, which limited its scope of operation to the Lagos metropolis. The National Library Decree No. 29 of 1970, which repealed the 1964 Act, extended the area of operation of the library to cover the entire country and empowered the National Library to take the lead in matters connected with library development in Nigeria. The board, established in pursuance of the 1970 decree, was constituted by members drawn from all the states of the Federation as well as some other interest groups. Large board membership was however reduced to 12 in the National Library Board Amendment Decree No. 26 of 1987. Credit must go to our leaders of the First Republic and the Ford Foundation of America, whose collective foresight was a great influence in the creation and establishment of the National Library of Nigeria. The Foundation's partnership with the federal government spanned a period of 9 years, from 1962 to 1971, during which 3 advisors were sent to Nigeria to head the National Library. The vision of Dr. Carl White, Mrs. Taylor, and Mr. Philip Rappaport gave the National Library a very solid and intellectual foundation. The objectives and functions of the National Library are clearly stated in the instrument establishing it and can be summarized as follows. 1. The provision of necessary support for intellectual efforts in all activities directed at progress and development. 2. Ensuring the availability of comprehensive and as near complete a collection of resources as possible of materials of knowledge in existence and ensuring full access to such resources both within and outside national boundaries. And 3. Ensuring a free flow of knowledge between this nation of ours and others, thereby securing a place for Nigeria in the community of nations that depend on recorded knowledge and information for survival in a world of rapid advancement and competition of ideas. Libraries are established generally to provide necessary information for the accomplishment of societal objectives. This society may be a school, a university, a specialized institution, or the general public. The basic foundations of libraries are to locate, collect, document, organize, preserve, and make information available for use. While all libraries in the country carry out these functions, the National Library, which is a reference library, performs other additional national and international functions. The primary function of the National Library is to stimulate library development efforts throughout the country, coordinate these efforts and channel them along the right direction. In pursuance of this function, the decree specifically charged the board to establish and to maintain a National Library of Nigeria, and also to provide such services as, in the opinion of the board, are usually provided by national libraries of the highest standard. The second important growth function is to serve as a giant memory of the nation, its intellectual treasury, and its learning and remembering process. The National Library has become, through the legal deposit provision of Decree number 29 of 1970, the national depository for the entire publishing output of the nation. The library is to acquire, assemble, and preserve for the use of all citizens the intellectual output of the nation in all spheres of human endeavor. In pursuance of this function, the decree empowers the National Library Board to receive specified number of copies of all published materials in the country, 25 copies of all federal government documents, 10 of state government, and 3 copies of commercial organizations. The legal deposits are used in the compilation of the National Bibliography of Nigeria, which is a statutory responsibility of the library. National Bibliographic Center, the National Library of Nigeria, discharges the nation's duty in the scheme of universal bibliographic control and universal availability of publications, UAP. A collection of over 500,000 volumes of monographs are available for reference and research at the reference library here in Lagos, while 11 state branches hold about 100,000 volumes. This collection is supported and enriched by special collections acquired by virtue of the library's role as a national and international depository. These include rare books inherited from the old Secretariat Library, United Nations documents, British parliamentary papers, Canadian government documents, gazettes of many African countries, publications of the OAU, and of course Nigeriana. The Nigeriana collection consists of all publications generated by federal and state governments and their agencies, and all commercially published material in Nigeria. The library holds Nigerian and some foreign newspapers in microfilm dating back to 1885, a good collection of maps, and about 3,000 current serial titles. The library has started a nucleus for an audiovisual center and has embarked on plans to acquire the private libraries of eminent Nigerians. Last year, over 230,000 users consulted 350,000 materials in the 12 service points of the National Library. Over 330,000 reference inquiries were received from the public. The National Library has maintained its national leadership in the professional practice and standardization of all libraries in Nigeria. This effort is clearly manifested in the bibliography control service, in copyright, in library statistics, cooperative acquisition, and interlibrary lending. Centers have been established within the library system, and they include the National Serials Data Center, National Data for Library Statistics, National Center for Interlibrary Lending, National Copyright and Information Center, and the International Standard Book Numbering ISBN Agency. Of severally in temporary facilities afforded by the respective state governments. Attached to each invariably is an offer of land on which to develop permanent facilities. In all cases but one, land has been firmly secured and construction of the prototype library building is in various stages of completion in 5 states, namely Anambra, Gongola, Imo, Ondo, and Bauchi. The permanent building in Kaduna was commissioned in November 1986, while arrangements are on hand to commission that one of Jos later this month.
Which are the foundation of industrialization and nation building as familiar objects, and to encourage every Nigerian to make his contribution in their development. This is not a departure from the traditional concept of national festivals as platforms for social and mass mobilization. For such festivals are occasions for the display of the community's assets as stimuli to inspiration and innovativeness, and as visual aids for democratizing knowledge and technique and recruiting for them new followership. For those who therefore believe that technology is a closed shop for exclusive groups, this exhibition is an eye-opener. In praising the National Festival Committee for its subtle combination of intellectual depth with grassroots reach in this festival, I wish to appeal that the platform be made an annual forum for self-appraisal and the building of our self-confidence. A shopping fair where ideas are sold and astute entrepreneurs seize the opportunity to invest in dreams for the good of the nation should provide us with a range of possibilities in our quest for technological advancement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to be part of this unique experience and honored to declare this exhibition open. Thank you.
Coincidental debate. Before we go down to the order of going down would be that people on the high table, please, you will allow to go down because
Sit down. How can I sit down? Why don't you sit down? Or more to now. cooperative. You want You don't know. They disconnected them. Who disconnected them now? I think it's working now. Okay.
This guy is nice for men. That's for meal rice. Meal for poultry.
What we have done is some of another unique aspect of this thing is we have wind classes. We look at all the practically and the and for that reason, we've got the theory. Look at that and some examples of federal housing authorities and the basic materials that we use. We try to get around both sides. You can see that you have very
all the way to finishing process.